All right, we're good. All right, my goal is 1 hour and a half.
Blackman Parish Council, October the 22nd, 2020. Council meeting is now called to order at 4:01 p.m. We'll have roll call, please. Let the record reflect that we have 7 councils present. Councilman Arborough and Councilman Blacks are absent. We'll move to the next item, please.
Number 2, executive session. Executive session pursuant to LRS 42:17A10 to receive attorney-client privileged information with regard to the ownership and land rights of Coast Guard Road, Attorney Rennie S. Burris II, Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered. Seconded by Mr. Konovich. Any discussion? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0. Let the record reflect that we go into executive session at 4:03 p.m. Thanks. Let's move to item K, 9K.
(9K), a resolution to provide employees group insurance coverages consisting of medical, vision, dental, and life for the policy period of January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2021 on an employer-employee contributory basis of 72%/28% and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And we do have some fill in the blanks. The fill-in-the-blanks are on line 6 and 7. On line 6, it's to insert the dollar amount of $474,259 per month or $5,691,113 per year. Oh, all these numbers? Okay. And also on line 7, at $4,218 per month, or, well, let me just read the whole paragraph. Whereas the best quote for total employees medical was Blue Cross at $474,259 per month, or $5,691,113 per year. The best quote for vision was Blue Cross at $4,218 per month, or $50,614 per year. The best quote for dental was Blue Cross at $23,828 per month, or $285,941 per year. The best quote for life was Sun Life at $13,497 per month, or $161,964 per year. And Mr. Chairman, that is it for the change, for the fill in the blanks.
Thank you. Council Walford. Seconded by Mr. Blank. Any discussion from the table? Audience. Machines are open.
Just a moment.
And the measure passes 7-0. We'll move to item 3, proclamations.
Item 3, a proclamation declaring October 2020 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the parish of Plaquemines.
I so offer. Second. Can I have a unanimous?
Absolutely.
We'll have a unanimous second.
A proclamation declaring October 2020 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the parish of Plaquemines. Whereas while considerable progress has been made in the fight against breast cancer, the parish of Plaquemines is committed to raising awareness about breast cancer and the impact it has on our loved ones, friends, colleagues, and community members. Breast cancer remains the most commonly diagnosed cancer and the second leading cause of death among women in the United States. And whereas each year it is estimated that more than 220,000 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and more than 40,000 will die as a result of the disease. And whereas October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an annual campaign to increase awareness about the disease, and during this month, we reaffirm our commitment to support breast cancer research and to educate all citizens about its risk factors, detection, and treatment. And whereas this October we will recognize breast cancer survivors, those battling the disease, their family and friends, who are a tireless source of love and encouragement, and applaud the efforts of our medical professionals and researchers working to find a cure for this deadly disease. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Paint Plaquemines Parish Pink Day is an opportunity to unite all citizens in our community to prevent breast cancer deaths through increased education and regular screening. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Plaquemines Parish Council, represented by its duly authorized Chairman Carlton M. LaFrance, and by concurrence of the Parish President Kirk M. Lapine, representing the Plaquemines Parish Government, that it hereby declares October 2020 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the Parish of Plaquemines.
Thank you. Any comments from the table? Mr. President?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to congratulate the council on the proclamation here and actually thank them for all the pink that you're wearing. And as we designate Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I think it has stricken everyone's family in some sort of some measure. So we pray for those who've been through it. If we do take a photo, we do have a survivor breast cancer employee in the audience, and I'd like her to take the picture with us.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any more comments from the table? Mrs. Newberry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm also a breast cancer survivor. I know many of y'all don't know that. But, you know, breast cancer is not just in women, it's also in men. So, and there's a lot of men here. So, you know, it's encouraged for women to get regular checkups. It's also encouraged for men to know their bodies also. So I just want to encourage men to please follow up with yourself. It's not just a woman problem, it's also a male problem.
Thank you. Any more comments? Mr. Blank?
And I think Plaquemines Parish has a really good policy where employees can donate sick time to one another, and I'm just glad that we have that, so folks that are going through that can afford to take that time off of work.
Thank you. Any more comments? Audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0. Do we have the proclamation?
I don't have one that's
okay.
really, yeah, to give out.
Do you have a employee?
Let's get it.
Is there any other breast cancer survivors? If there is, please step up.
Yes, hold that, huh?
Watch your step. That is a
John's coming.
Come on, man, get on the good foot. We'll move to item 4, status report by the parish president.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. As of today, Louisiana Department of Health has reported over 11,000 Plaquemines residents have been tested for COVID-19. Out of the 11,000 tested, 884 residents have tested positive and 19 deaths. According to LDH, the last COVID-related death was July 31st. Louisiana will stay in phase 3 until November 6th. Public testing still available at Plaquemines Medical Center, 24 hours a day. And thanks to our partnership with the Air National Guard, there would be COVID-19 testing for parish employees only. Free walk-up testing is available to Plaquemines Parish government employees who want to determine his or her COVID-19 status. These tests are not rapid tests. Results take 3 to 5 days. The location on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be the Belle Chase Primary School, the Annex Building, or the old Head Start Building. And on Thursday and Friday, South Plaquemines High School underneath the building near the main office elevator. This is testing only for Plaquemines Parish employees, not spouses, but just employees. Early voting, reminding residents they can vote early now through Tuesday, October 27th, excluding Sunday, October 25th, every day from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The early voting locations in Plaquemines Parish are the Registered Voters Office, 28028 Highway 23 in Port Sulphur, the Annex Building at 301 Main Street, Belle Chase, and the Percy Griffin Community Center at 15535 Highway 15, but that's only on Saturday, October 24th. As we recognize our breast cancer, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an annual campaign to increase awareness about the disease, and during this month, we reaffirm our commitment to support breast cancer research and to educate all our citizens about the risk factors, detection, and treatment. Today, we paint the parish pink to honor those ones we lost and the ones who still fight this horrible illness. Halloween through Plaquemines Parish, Plaquemines Medical Center trunk or treat through event will be Friday, October 23rd, 2020, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The trunk or treat with the Buras Fire Department will be Saturday, October 31st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. There's a haunted trail for trick or treat at the Jesuit Bend Park at Friday, October 30th, at 5 to 8:30. And on one more note, tomorrow is the Orange Festival Golf Tournament hosted by the Belle Chase Rotary Club. Tee-off is at noon tomorrow. Did I, right, Ms. Kim? Lunch at noon, I apologize, and tee-off is at 1. So, at Stonebridge Country Club. And that's all my report, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Roussel?
Mr. President, the question about good news, is good news going to be blocked off for Halloween again, or is it going to be open?
Mr. Roussel spoke with the sheriff today, and he was going to determine if the streets, are they going to put the barricade or not. I hate to say he hasn't made a decision yet. Our determination between our conversation was we want kids to have a safe trick-or-treat night, but I guess our message is try not to gather as many people in one spot. And how do we do that? Because that is a main thoroughway that has a lot of kids out there. So we still in talks about how that's going to play out.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the table? Yep. Audience? We'll move to the next item, please.
Update by the civil, are we doing that?
Yeah, update by civil service on opening jobs.
Yes.
Is she here?
Mr. Konovich?
Is a civil service person here? I'll defer it.
Okay.
Update by the Charter Directors, old business.
Ms. Taylor, I looked at your update, and they moved the completion date for Post Sulphur Library from December to January. Did the contractors give you an update why was it delayed another month?
That's an estimated, I'm on?
Yes,
That's an estimated date. Mr. LaFrance, we've had several storms.
Yeah.
COVID happened, so we've had delays along the way, but it's coming.
oh, okay, all right. Any more questions from the table?
Yeah.
Ms. Newberry?
Yeah, this is in reference to Todd Epley's update. It's good to see we have a surplus somewheres. It's good to see that we have a surplus. That surplus, is that money that just in the general fund, or is that, does that money stay within planning and zoning?
I believe all the permit fees go into the general.
Back to, okay, thank you.
Any more questions from the table? We'll move to the next item, please.
New business.
Next item, please.
Bids and advertisements, we have one. Number 5A, a resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to advertise for and dispose of surplus vehicles and equipment on an as-is basis through public auction conducted by Henderson Auctions.
So offered.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Konovich. Any questions from the table? Mr. Roussel.
Yes, I looked at the fire department Mack fire engines that are going up for auction. One has 36,000 miles, one has 35,000 miles, and one has 64,000 miles. My question is that this equipment is no longer needed, it's not going to be replaced, and I guess the question is that I would like to sell fire engines with such low mileage on there, and then be asked to provide a new fire engine somewhere.
Even though there's low mileage on the fire apparatus, a lot of it is very old. Some of it has been through storms. The trucks that are going to auction are trucks that need repairs that are worth more than what it would be worth investing in an old truck. So these are trucks that are not useful anymore, and we would have to sink a bunch of money into them to make them useful.
But my question is, are we going to be asked to replace these trucks?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the table? Audience? Ms. Newberry, please key in. Ms. Newberry,
Back to the trucks, low mileage, is that, you said,
please get closer to the mic.
sorry, you said that low mileage, is that an engine problems, or is that other problems with the truck for as far as its ability to address fires?
I don't know specifically per truck. I know we have trucks that have transmission issues. I know we have trucks that have pump issues. I know we have trucks that have engine issues. We've got one that's, got water going into the oil pan on a regular basis, and it's just a matter of time before the engine throws a rod, and then it won't, it won't move. So,
So you're saying if it's a transmission issue, it's cheaper to buy a new truck than it is to buy a transmission?
what I'm saying is, we don't have the money to repair the trucks, and the cost of the repair would not be worth keeping the truck for the cost of the repair.
Thank you.
So to follow up, you gave us a list of problem trucks. So these 3 trucks have those problems specifically?
I don't know specifically what problem is for which truck. I know we have trucks that have those problems, but I don't know exactly what the problem is with each one of those trucks.
My only comment is that, we're selling 3 trucks, and you gave us a whole list of problems. So are we selling the right trucks, or are we selling the wrong trucks? Because from what I just heard, we don't have the money to fix the trucks the way you said the problems are, yet we're selling these 3 trucks. So I guess I'm a little confused as to what trucks we really need to sell.
These are the ones that the fire superintendent identified as trucks that we need to get out of the system.
And in the future, when we, I'm not going to belabor the point, but for clarification purposes, the superintendent should be here to answer these questions. Because I see that the answers that you're giving us are generalities about overall fleets that have many problems, which we have no money to fix. Yet we're selling these three, and we're attributing those overall problems, I guess, to something, whether it's these specific trucks, which we don't have the answer to.
I can get you specific answers, but I can't get it right now.
I know, but the point is that when it comes up, when these type of issues come up, I would ask the administration to be prepared to give in-depth answers to questions as simple as, why are we selling them?
Be happy to answer any of your questions.
Unless you want to defer this item.
You send me your questions, I'll get them answered.
Well, I did send the question this morning asking about the mileage. And so they sent me back the mileage. So the mileage leads to another question. If they would have had 300,000 miles on it like you have on some of these vehicles, 400,000 on this one heavy equipment Mack truck, I wouldn't have a question about it. But then when I see 36,000 miles, when I drive a pickup with 90,000 miles, it makes me ask the next question, well, what's wrong with it?
Let's take the fire trucks off and just come back with the info. If it's that,
We can do that, and we may very well that we're going to sell these trucks at surplus, but I'm just saying for that, no, never mind.
Well, what we'll do, we'll just defer this item. We'll defer it,
All right.
okay? Move to item 6, please.
Beer liquor licenses, there are none. Number 7, construction permits.
We'll take item 7A1 and 2 in Globo.
7A1, Hillcore Energy Company, application number 2020-398, dated June 2nd, 2020. Prop wash, install pile clusters, drill the Shimano prospect and install wellhead protector, 6-inch flow line and 3-inch gas lift line. Lake Grand Ecali, Councilmember Blink. And number 2, Time Energy, application number 2020-713, dated October 5th, 2020. Removal of the Cox Bay loading dock, walkway, pipe rack, pipeline, mooring pilings, boat dock, and original loading. Cox Bay Field, Councilmember Bartholomew.
Mr. Bartholomew? We have a motion by Mr. Bartholomew, seconded by Mr. Blank. Any question from the table? Audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 6-4. Mr. Konovich abstained. We'll take item 7B and C in Globo.
B, Jennifer Mesa, RV trailer park in a floodplain zoning district, parcel number 1620351, Port Sulphur, Louisiana, Councilmember LaFrance. C, Marion Prest, RV trailer in a floodplain zoning district, parcel number 1620351, Port Sulphur, Louisiana, Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blank. Any questions from the table? Audience, machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0. Item D,
Live Oak Grove Properties LLC trailer park renewal for 52 spaces, 11797 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana, Councilmember Newberry.
we have a motion by Ms. Newberry, seconded by Mr. Blank. Any questions from the table? Audience, machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0. Next item, please.
Introduction of ordinances and resolutions. We have several. The first one is for Councilmember Konovich. An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of the Plaquemines Parish government, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, is shown on the map of re-subdivision property of Plaquemines Parish government, Buras, Louisiana, into tracts E-1 and E-2 by Bryant Hammond and Associates, certified by Hugh McCurdy III, PLS, dated September 17, 2020, having met all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines, and further declaring tract E-1 as surplus land and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. For Councilmember Blink, an ordinance to amend the 2020 operating revenue and expenditure budgets to accept a donation from the Empire South Pass Tarpon Rodeo and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. For Councilmember LaFrance, an ordinance authorizing the parish president or his designee to enter into a contract with Intrado to provide Viper as a service to the Plaquemines Parish Communications District and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and, as amended, readopt Section 6, subsection C of ordinance number 142, the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and amended to readopt Section 4 of ordinance number 142, the comprehensive zoning ordinance of the Parish of Plaquemines, Louisiana, as amended, and the comprehensive zoning district map therein adopted by reference and which is paraphrased thereto, with reference to application number 2020-447 dated September 8, 2020. A resolution approving the issuance of a second two-year extension commencing upon the expiration of the current two-year extension period to Woodland Borrow Pits, LLC, for the existing sand pit on property located in a floodplain zoning district at 22441 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana, all in accordance with the application number 2014-4771 dated January 7, 2013. An ordinance to amend the 2020 5-year capital improvements plan, various projects, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2020 operating revenue and expenditure budgets, various funds, various departments, various line items, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance establishing a policy of budgetary control for the operating budget of expenditures for the Plaquemines Parish government for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending December 31st, 2021, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance adopting the original capital improvements budget for the Plaquemines Parish government for the 5-year period beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending December 31st, 2025, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance adopting the original operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the Plaquemines Parish government for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending December 31st, 2021, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the next several are for Councilmember Black. A resolution conditionally approving the plan of re-subdivision of a portion of Tract 5-E, Section B of Bell Chase Plantation into Cypress Park subdivision, Phase 2. The subdivision to be constructed in 2 phases. Phase 2A containing lots 121 through 169 and lots 185 through 210. And Phase 2B containing lots 170 through 184 and lots 211 through 240. All without cost of Plaquemines Parish government or the Parish of Plaquemines and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and amended to readopt Section 4 of ordinance number 142, the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended in the comprehensive zoning district map, therein adopted by reference and which is paraphrased thereto with reference to application number 2020-442 dated June 30th, 2020. And the last introduction, an ordinance to amend and, as amended, readopt subsection 12 of Section 8, exceptions and modifications of ordinance number 142, the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that is it for the introductions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. There's a lot of. We move to the next item.
Councilmember Black requests that items 9A1 and 9A2 be withdrawn.
Drawn, right. And 9B is deferred. 9C is deferred. 9D is deferred. 9H is deferred. 9J is deferred. That's it. So we are moved to 9.3.
Okay, we do have 2 emails for this item. 9A3, an ordinance to rescind, annul, and set aside ordinance number 403, adopted December 8th, 1982. Rescind, annul, and set aside Section 6 and Section 7 of ordinance number 40, adopted at the April 9th, 1964, established Article 10 to be titled Mosquito Control of Chapter 13 of the Parish Code of Ordinances, establish a user fee for mosquito control in order to continue to abate, control, eradicate, and study mosquitoes and other arthropods of public health importance in all activities incidental thereto and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
We have a motion by Mr. Blank for discussion. Do we have a second? We have a second by Mr. Conovich. Mr. Blank.
Yes, certainly. We have not received the budget book yet for the parish, but I would suspect keeping all of the departments intact might not be an option. And this was proposed and set up as the most equitable and user-friendly way to set up a fee attached to one's water bill for the purposes of mosquito control. It's something that we all enjoy here. We would love to keep paying for it out of the general fund, but I'm not sure if we're able to. My assistant and I worked on several different fee schedules to try and find the most equitable fit. So for instance, somebody with a 3/4 inch water meter and somebody with a 10-inch water meter might be contributing to the mosquito problem a little bit differently. So we have a few different sample fee schedules that we've sent out to our colleagues, and we're still looking for feedback on those. I think we don't need to put the cart before the horse, so we should absolutely see the budget book before voting on this, that kind of thing. But I did want to open it up for a discussion if there's any questions.
Mr. Roussel.
Putting the cart before the horse or putting the cart before the election? Because we have a millage on the ballot, and if we're sending a message that this is going to be the policy, then what's going to happen with the millage?
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying, Mr. Roussel.
Okay. Any more questions from the table? Mrs. Newberry?
I guess my question is, I mean, if we decide to move forward, I told Mr. Blink I'd support this. I've been supporting this. It gives us immediate revenue. I mean, if you remember the budget last year, Mr. Lapine had took out mosquito control altogether. I don't know what we're going to look at the next budget hearing. It may be the same thing. So I guess my question is, if we move forward with this, are we able to pull, and this gets passed, are we able to pull the vote, I mean, the millage off the ballot? Thank you.
If this is voted on today and passed, yeah, we will remove the millage from the ballot.
We will make a request to the Secretary of State if there's still time to remove the millage from the ballot.
Unless Mr. Blink was looking to do something like this and millage, I don't know. I don't know what his.
No, that is absolutely not the case. It would be one or the other.
So we don't know what that deadline is to pull it off the ballot. Is that correct?
We do not. The order of call came in. Our attorneys have sent their response to the Secretary of State that the propositions were written clearly. And so I cannot tell you exactly what the last day is before something can be pulled off the ballot. I don't know that off the top of my head. If this passes, obviously we make the request to the Secretary of State that he do pull it. What you also need to understand is that even if we can't pull it and the millage passes or it fails, if it passes, that doesn't mean the millage becomes effective. You still have to come the following year and actually appropriate the fund, well, not appropriate it, but you'd have to enact the tax. And what you would do in that case is obviously not enact a tax.
Okay.
Dr. Gui?
I did receive the 3 proposals from Councilmember Blink, and I have to say a lot of work went into that. I don't have those 3 in front of me, but I did respond to what I thought was the most favorable. So I think that before this passes, every council member should be comfortable with the schedule that will be attached to this, Richie. And like I said, I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with the response I gave. It's just that off the top of my head, I don't remember which one it was. There were 3 of them. So.
Certainly, and that's set up so A retiree living alone is not paying the same amount as the refinery. And so we try to do it in the most equitable way possible.
Yeah, it was well thought out, but like I said, when I looked at the three, there was only one that I felt I could support, because I felt it was very equitable. I just don't remember which one it was.
Thank you.
Mr. Bartholomew?
Yes, my constituents advised me, we're gonna vote on an item for assessment on the mosquito when we got it on the ballot for a vote. So which doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever.
So, I mean, there's a.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Bartholomew?
Yeah, it's all right?
Yeah, I thought you were asking me.
And I'm just saying what they told me about it, that if we have something on the ballot, why you want to circumvent it before the election to determine whether or not you want to move forward. They would like to have the opportunity to vote yes or no for that particular item. Then this board or this council can do what it seems fit to do after the election. That's all.
And
Mr. Blank?
Sure. Mr. Bartholomew, I always, err on the side of, giving the public the chance to voice their opinion on that. And that is definitely my intent. I want to have this here, so we could discuss it. It's not something we're moving on today. That's why, I offered it for discussion only. But, I mean, there are a lot of moving parts, especially with the millages that are in play for the people of Plaquemines Parish to vote on. If, in one scenario, if we do pass the mosquito control fee, which would be on the water bills, that would be one less millage that folks would have to pay. Some folks would end up paying more, some folks would end up paying less. So, I mean, there's a lot to consider, there's a lot of moving parts there. But I agree with you.
Do the administration, how y'all planning on selling the millage? Y'all have any plans on what y'all planning on doing?
You're talking about information to provide to the public?
Yes.
Yes, we met with someone who has done this in various other parishes. It was his recommendation that we wait for the presidential election to be finished, because right now, with all the noise, that it's not something that the public would absorb at this time. So we're currently working on that plan, and as soon as the presidential election is over, we intend to do advertisements, mail-outs, social media, information, et cetera.
So that give you 30 days?
Correct, but that was from the advice of the professionals who do this for a living.
Thank you. We'll move to the next item, please.
We have emails to read.
Please read them.
First one is from Mr. Will Hildebrand, 116 Pie Street, Belle Chase. Mr. Blank, will you rescind your offer to establish a user fee for mosquito control? The council has recently endorsed multiple taxes on the residents of this parish. Most recently, the council has voted to call a special election for 5 more millage increases on the taxpayers of this parish. On July 1 of this year, the 2% exemption on groceries and medication was removed. And last but certainly not least was the temporary 10-year, $20 million tax for the school system, and the hospital was re-upped for another 10 years with an 11% increase added to that $20 million tax that most people had no idea was added, and will further increase their homeowner tax even more. The people of this parish have been taxed and user feed to death. Now is the time to start cutting to balance the budget. Mr. Blank, why don't you offer a resolution to sell the Port Eats Fishing Complex for $16 million to fund your mosquito control and also bail out the impending budget shortfall? The second email is from Steve Mudge, 1004 Epsilon Street, Belle Chase, Louisiana. Mr. Blank, I oppose any new user fees for mosquito control. We haven't had a special tax or fee for mosquito control as long as I've lived here, which is approximately 60 years. A government, no matter how big or small, is like a parasite on the people. One thing we do have to look forward to in our parish is that a good parasite will never destroy its host. Mr. Blink, we have faith that you will not support any new user fee or taxes that will put more burden on the people of our parish. And that is it for the emails.
Thank you, Ms. Barr.
If the administration could illustrate the importance of why we're doing this, and not that we want to be a parasite or anything like that, but we want to keep this service going, and that there might not be very many other options. I mean, could y'all please elaborate on that? That this is for the right reasons to keep the mosquito control program?
I apologize, Mr. Blink. I can't hear you. Would you?
Oh, I'm sorry. If possible, could y'all elaborate that this is set up to keep the mosquito control program intact as it is today, and maybe even improve it with additional funding?
In a few minutes, well, in about an hour or two, you'll get the budget book and you'll see how increasingly difficult it's being to fund every department. And it's going to be a challenge going forward. And you'll see through the budget book of where we stand and where we are cutting.
Yeah.
And so I just want to let you know that it's tough, okay? So it's tough. Your job, too, is trying to find alternate revenues to help us out. So all I can say is each department, every department, we're trying to keep running, but it's getting hard.
Kirk, thank you. I want to point out, too, that and if somebody could chime in with the exact millage numbers, that would be helpful. But the school board, their millage is around 29 mills, correct?
The parish, the government takes in 17 mills. The sheriff's office is roughly about 19 mills. The hospital is about 8 mills. And the school board is almost 30 mills. There's a total, since we wrote it up, there's a total, I think if I'm saying it right, 72.3? Okay.
And that money.
And of the total, the government gets 17 mills.
And this money doesn't fall out of the air. It has to come from somewhere. And we've had 100,000 acres of oil-producing lands that frankly just aren't producing anymore, and that we have to figure out alternative ways to come up with the revenue. And I just, I wanted to highlight that for Mr. Mudge and for Mr. Hildebrand.
Thank you. That's fine.
We'll move to item E, please.
Item E, a resolution establishing the dates, times, and places of public hearings on the proposed 2021 operating budget and on the proposed capital improvement budget covering a period of at least 5 years as submitted by the parish president, to authorize the council secretary to place the necessary public notice in the Plaquemines Gazette to Section 7.02A and Section 7.05C of the Charter for Local Self-Government, Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
We have blanks to fill in. On line 15, the date of November 16th, 2020 at 9 a.m. should be placed in there. On line 18, the date of November 18th, 2020 should be filled in. On line 23, the date of October 26th, 2020 should be filled in. On line 25, the date of October 26, 2020 should be filled in, and on line 26, November 18th, 2020 should be filled in.
And I so offer.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blink. Any questions from the table? Audience. Machines are open.
Mr. Bartholomew? Mr. Roussel?
And the measure passes 7-0. We'll move to the next item, please.
9F, a resolution electing the chairperson of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2021 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
So, Mr. Overall, I defer that.
G,
Mr. Bartholomew?
We vote for the chairperson of the council.
Mr. Bartholomew would like to move on it, Mr. Conovich.
I have to agree with Mr. Conovich.
You to speak. Thank you.
I have to agree with Mr. Cognovich.
We'll move that. Mr. Conovich?
Like I said, I promised him I would defer it, but if all of y'all want to go with it, but I promised to defer it, and Ms. Newberry agrees.
Anybody would like to offer it?
I'll offer it.
Hmm?
What's the problem? We don't have, can't offer it? All right. Defer it then.
We have it deferred. We'll move to the next item, please.
G,
Defer that one too.
Deferred.
item I. A resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Parish government, represented by the parish president, to do all things necessary and proper to negotiate, perfect, and execute a cooperative endeavor agreement with Plaquemines Parish Assessor's Office for the cost sharing of professional services for collection of data and the valuation of certain oil and gas personal property located in Plaquemines Parish for the 2021 ad valorem tax year and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I so offer.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bartholomew. Any question from the table? Anybody have any question for Ms. Belinda? Any question from the audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0.
Item L, a resolution authorizing the parish president on behalf of the Plaquemines Parish Council to certify to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development that the Plaquemines Parish government has complied with all FHWA/DOTD requirements in 2020 relative to bridges located in Plaquemines Parish under the Plaquemines Parish government's jurisdiction.
I so offer.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Conovich. Any question from the table? Mr. Conovich.
Have we inspected them? Because last time we voted on this and we found out a ferry ramp was condemned.
Mr. Eppley?
I didn't hear the question.
I asked if we know that the inspections was done, because last time they were done and we found out later that the ferry ramp was condemned.
The inspection was done by our engineering department, who then called DOTD, and that's when the ferry ramp was shut down. Our engineering department does do the inspections every 6 to 12 months, just like they're required by FHWA and DOTD.
Mr. Roussel?
Yes, I had the same concern as Mr. Konovich and sent an email out. Mr. Dugas responded that he assured me that the inspections were done verbally, but I did have the same concerns as Mr. Konovich because we had done a certification a few months prior to that condemning of the ferry ramp, and looking at the pictures from the ferry ramp, it looked like that timber was in deplorable condition for quite a long time. So the email assures us that you've looked at it, the engineering department has certified it, and I guess we're taking the word for the engineering department.
He put it down in writing in an email.
That's what I said. I just said, I got an email from Mr. Dugas.
Yes, sir.
So what's your point?
Just reiterating that you said it was in an email.
Right, and I said I had a concern as Mr. Konovich. And so that's why we asked the question.
Okay.
Mr. Bartholomew?
I yield to Ms. Newberry.
Ms. Newberry?
Are those inspections, public record? Is that something that we can put, on a parish website when we do inspections? Just a question.
I can ask the engineering department if we can do that.
That way people feel safe when they go on these bridges and ferries, to let them know that we did our job.
Mr. Bartholomew?
Yes, I was there periodically during the process of rehabilitating the ramps, and we did have our engineering department, members of the engineering department there while the process was going on for rehabilitating the ramp. But it also was stated that the ramps is not in state-of-the-art condition. Well, I think when we're in the process of, hopefully through the administration part, that we're working on rebuilding those ramps. But they say it's not in perfect condition. They're not. What they repaired is, but the ramp itself is not. It needs to be replaced. And by the way, the contractor really efficient. They really expedited the process to repair. They worked real hard. They worked the days and worked when it was raining, and they had the right equipment to do the job with, which made the job a whole lot quicker and got done a whole lot faster. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bartholomew. Any more questions from the table? Audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0.
Item M, an ordinance to amend the Library Services Fund 2020 operating revenue and operating budgets, libraries department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
So offered. Seconded by Mr. Konovich. Any questions from the table? From the audience? Machines are open.
Mr. Bartholomew?
And the measure passes 7-0.
N, a resolution to adopt the Plaquemines Parish Government Priority List of projects for the proceeds from the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund Energy and Donor Report.
Mr. Konovich. We have a motion by Mr. Konovich to offer it with changes, and seconded by Mr. Blank.
Like to take on line 15, number 2, Port East Channel, and move it down to the bottom, and move everything else up.
Are you all right with that, Mr. Blank?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any question from the table? Audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0.
O, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan dredging maintenance boat harbors project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Offer.
We have a motion by Mr. Konovich, seconded by Mr. Roussel. Mr. Konovich,
Offer is read.
any discussion from the table? From the audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0.
Thank y'all very much.
P, an ordinance to establish and adopt a policy with regard to final judgments for money damages and establish the procedure for the settlement of such judgments and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
We have a motion by Mr. Roussel, seconded by Mr. Konovich. Mr. Roussel.
Yes, Yeah, there's two competing items on the agenda today. If you read the emails back and forth from the two different attorneys, I'm hoping that you've decided which procedure you would like to move forward with. And as the author of this proposal, I believe this would be in the best interest of the parish to move with this proposal.
Any comments from the table? From the audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0.
The next one will be withdrawn.
Item Q is withdrawn. Move to item 10.
10A, introduction of resolutions where suspension is being sought. Mr. Chairman, we do have one.
Okay.
A resolution urging the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development to do emergency repairs to the culverts on Highway 23 from Empire to Venice in Plaquemines Parish and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I'd like to offer with a change.
Well, first, we're gonna have to make a motion for the suspend the rules.
Motion.
And we have a motion by Mr. Conovich, seconded by Mr. Blake. This is for suspension of the rules. Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0. Mr. Conovich,
I need to read the preamble again.
okay?
A resolution urging the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development to do emergency repairs to the culverts on Highway 23 from Empire to Venice in Plaquemines Parish and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
We have a motion
With changes.
with changes. Mr. Conovich.
Yes, I talked with Councilman LaFrance and Blink. They'd like to go from Port Sulphur to Venice. I talked to Mr. Cormier. He said that would be good.
Good. So we have a motion with changes from Mr. Conovich, seconded by Mr. Blank. Any discussion from the table?
Yes. I'd just like to take this moment to thank Representative Cormier for going to bat for us in Baton Rouge to get these vital repairs to LA 23 accomplished.
Thank you. Any more comments from the table? Audience? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0.
B, District 9 update, Councilmember Konovich. Number 1, Fort Jackson cleanup.
Yes, I'd like to thank the administration for all they did for us for the cleanup there at Fort Jackson. Looks really well. I wish the tourism director could have been there to see, because towards the end, they had about 30 visitors come. The furthest one was from San Diego, and, you know, they was really impressed and didn't know anything like that was down here. So I'd like to thank y'all for that.
And again, thank you, Mr. Connor, for organizing that event. It was very successful. I apologize for missing it. I was out of town, but I think it was very successful. And the people gravitated to the fort to help, and it looks really nice. So good job.
Thank you.
Number 2, garbage cans.
I have a question about them. Like, there's some companies that have 5, 6, 10 garbage cans. Wouldn't it be feasible for us to put a dumpster there and charge them one fee for a dumpster? And
At the fort?
no, at different businesses I see with,
Oh,
they have more than 5 garbage cans and.
let me refer to Mr. Russo.
Yeah, we just charge them for each garbage can as a commercial rate. And, yeah, some of them do have 5 or 6. Some of them got a couple more, but we don't have dumpsters or a front-load truck like commercial that would go out and put in the commercial spot like that.
Oh, all right, because I thought we might have had some dumpsters out there that,
We have 40-yard open-top dumpsters or 20-yard open-top dumpsters, but that would eat up a bunch of our dumpsters, and we don't have that many.
All right. Thank you.
Next item, please.
C, District 8 update, Councilmember Blink. Number 1, Jesuit Bend levy update.
So I'd like to thank Todd Epley and Ken Dugas within engineering for meeting with Councilmember Newberry and I, just continuing to move the ball forward on the Jesuit Bend drainage project. The Jesuit Bend levee project. Thank y'all very, very much for, just continuing to, keep us informed and get those solid next steps and just continuing to chew away at those so we can get that higher level of protection and figure out how to close the southern closure, which is near the Naomi siphon. Getting that accomplished will get folks safer sooner. Just like to let the public know it's not a cheap project. Just raising LA 23 is a $7.3 million endeavor, and the rest of the closure there would cost about $4.3 million. But we're working to secure the funding to get that accomplished and get those map changes to where folks can be safer on paper as well as safer in the real world when that closure is in place. Thank you.
Number 2, Empire Title Gate update.
So I've been meeting with constituents and trying to get some artist renditions or some short video to explain what we need in Empire to continue operating the harbor. What's happening is the apparent level of the water is becoming much higher, where the floodgates are closing about 100 days annually. And this puts the commercial fishing fleet and the businesses within the Empire Harbor at a disadvantage. Sometimes up to 5 days on end, boats can be stuck inside. And so it's been identified that we need almost like a locking system, very similar to what the river side has on the bayou side or on the Gulf side, that would contain a pump in the proposal to where boats can lock out and continue to work during what some people are calling sunny weather flooding. We'll have a nice day sometimes, and Empire just can't handle high tide anymore. So we're trying to develop this concept, develop some visuals so we can go to bat at the federal level to try and get some money to get what we need there. But I just wanted to, clue in the folks at home in the administration, give them a full update on what I've been working on. That yield. Thank you.
Next item, please.
D, District 1 update, Councilmember Bartholomew.
Next item.
E, District 7 update, Councilmember LaFrance. Number 1, Diamond Park concession stand update, and I do have an email on that, Mr. LaFrance.
Please.
The email is from James Hill. I would like a status update on the grading and filling of potholes on Martin Lane. Has the grader been repaired? I would like comments from my previous email suggestion to increase the road maintenance millage in the 2021 budget. Thanks, James Hill.
You want to? Yeah, that's item 2. But go ahead, Mr. Roussel.
Sorry.
Mr. President, anybody want to take it?
My apologies. Look, we're working on Martin Lane as fast as we can. This particular gentleman has contacted my office. He doesn't live here, but he just has some ideas of how we can just put maintenance money in and fix the road. But, look, we're doing the best we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Since we're on this subject, Mr. Roussel, did we take care of Grand Bayou Road?
Yes, sir.
Are we still, it's completed or we still working on it?
It is completed. The superintendent told me it was finished today. We had a little problem with the tractor yesterday. We got it back going, and we did complete it today. Yes, sir.
And when we gonna look at the new budget, we will see a new grader on it?
I hope so. I mean.
And on the Diamond Park concession stand, I'm still getting quotes on it, but it costs more money than what we thought. Okay, item 2, the ditches and the potholes. How do we handle potholes in these subdivisions? Do we have bags of asphalt that we use or that we fill in these potholes?
Well, it depends on the road type. I mean, if we have gravel road, we use limestone, but if we, we try to patch some with asphalt, in the bags.
Yeah,
We have filled some in at different locations where it's concrete and they had a little patch knocked out or however, and we have patched it with the asphalt.
okay, that's what I'm, okay. What department has the asphalt, bags of asphalt?
Prone does.
That's prom?
Yes, sir.
So that would be Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I'll call him tomorrow.
They have a lot of them, or bags of,
I haven't, I don't know what we have right now. We have bags and we have a pile in the back. I don't know how much is left. We've been filling spots, but we have material. Just give us the locations and, we'll try to do the best we can.
Well, I did put in the work order several months, but it hasn't happened. So I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow and take care of that.
Boothville
If you give us
River
the work order number, we can look it up.
Okay, so will. Mr. Conover?
Boothville River Road, I put that in a couple times, but if I could get the bags, I'll fill them.
We did fix the one hole during the storm area, right after the storm. We did go down there and fix one spot. I don't know if there's others, but we can check it out.
I think altogether they had maybe 10, 15 holes. I'll get with you.
Yes, sir.
And while I'm on the subject with the grader, the grader is not only to grade the road. There are spots on Highway 11, and I know there are spots in Booville and in Barretson where the side of the road is higher than the road, and it holds water when it rains, and so we need a grader to grade that shoulder off where we can get that water off that road. It is a safety hazard.
Right, I did give you some quotes. I think you got the quotes.
I sure did.
You get some money appropriated for a grader,
Yep.
Good.
Item F, please. Oh, Mr. Bartholomew? Oh, I'm sorry.
You're not looking.
Yeah. Well, I gave you, and you deferred.
But I don't want to talk about that, but I'm talking about the grader you got.
Okay.
I don't have a grader on the east.
Yeah.
I know you got one down here.
No, I don't have one.
Oh, I thought you had one.
No. And then if we would get one, we would have one. Not me, but we would have one.
And one grader would represent the whole parish.
Absolutely.
Well, I couldn't tell because the old piece of grader we had never dotted across the river. But anyway, just like you said, along the highways,
Right,
it's very bad on both areas, all highways,
right.
especially the one we own.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm just mentioning that. That's all.
Next item, please.
F, District 5, update Councilmember Roussel. Number 1, discussion of Medal of Honor Park Drainage Pond and Sluice Gate by Mr. Wilson Hildebrand.
Mr. Roussel.
Yes, this is a request that Mr. Hildebrand has made in the past, wanting an update on it. And I'd like to see if we can incorporate item number 1 and item number 5 in the same discussion to see if they are indeed being worked as one project. I sent an email to the engineering department, asked to be updated on the engineering design of the project. I know that there's an a surveying firm out there putting stakes along Barrier Road, but I don't know if the work requests that have been on the books for 4 years, 5 years, are being included in this drainage repair plan. And since we've had a change in administration 2 years ago, I want to make sure that we are addressing the requests that have been made by constituents for drainage repairs 4 or 5 years ago. And so that's why I've asked to be included in part of this design of the project. I had been assured by Mr. Dugas that I would be invited. I've sent emails and got no response. No response. So I'd like to be invited to have this discussion to see where the project is, how it's being included with the work requests that are pending.
Mr. Russo, I'll have Mr. Dugas contact you tomorrow.
Thank you. The next item, the status of Engineers Road project. I think he gave us an update at the last meeting, so we can take and withdraw that. The discussion of the 2020 census, I guess we're wrapping that up, and I don't know if we've got a good percentage or a bad percentage.
I'll let direct, Mr. Is he down?
Plaquemines Parish, no, Keith left.
Okay.
Plaquemines Parish is at 56.4. That was the last report I got, which was yesterday, when they gave us a report.
Do you know how that compares to the 2010 census? I mean, are we about the same?
About the same, I think.
I think it's about the same. Keith and I discussed it.
Okay.
Didn't they extend it, the timeline?
October 31st.
Okay.
Ms. Newberry?
Crystal, do we have any signs to put out? I thought we had signs to put out on highways. I mean, when we originally talked about.
We originally had events that we had planned.
Right.
And COVID came into play. We've had Jade really pushing it on the website and at events, food drives and things that.
But we never had any signs to put out on highways for
No,
people who
no, we didn't.
aren't social media people, you know?
No,
Okay.
we did not.
Item number,
Mr. Russo?
yeah, item number 4, on the Infomart contract, I don't know if Mr. Epley has made any progress or contact with them to discuss this. Without getting into a long discussion now, I hope that we can have some discussion during the budget hearing to make some adjustments or to try to make some progress, if you can gear up for that.
Sure. And I did check with Aquametric at your suggestion about the meters that we could possibly buy, that we could control with the computer. And he did send me a quote. For 100, it would be $41,394 for 100 of those meters that we could operate from the computer. Now, he did say some of the infrastructure may not support that in every area of the parish. If we're out on the fringe area of how far the radios would work, they may or may not work in that area.
So they're about twice the cost of a regular meter?
I'm sorry?
They're about twice the cost of regular meters?
I don't know exactly what a
Okay.
regular meter is.
All right, well, it's something that we can discuss in the budget hearing to try to see if there's some way that we can work with Infomark. And you had mentioned the chemicals. Are we talking chemicals still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can discuss this in the budget hearing.
Sure.
All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you on that item.
Item G, please.
Update by Mike Metcalf regarding the adoption of flood maps. Councilmember Roussel.
Yes, I know that there was a conference call where Mr. Metcalf participated in the conference call about the Lomar. Is there any effort going to be made to inform the residents through a public meeting or some other media about what is getting ready to happen, no matter what happens to the Lomar?
As far as informing the residents about
The adoption of the flood maps? I mean, yeah, I guess I've been asking that there's got to be an ordinance that's going to come to this table for us to adopt flood maps.
There's going to be an amendment for the council to adopt, yes, sir. We do intend to schedule town hall meetings around the parish and have town hall meetings and advertise those town hall meetings so residents can come and ask questions and we can work with them individually.
And those will be prior to the adoption of the maps in January 15th?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Item H.
The Finance Department's presentation of the 2021 proposed budget. Councilmember LaFrance.
Ms. Taylor?
Council members, on behalf of the administration and the finance department, we are pleased to present the parish council the 2021 proposed operating budget and the 5-year capital budget. As you review this budget during the next few weeks, please contact my office or the finance office with any questions or suggestions. This will facilitate efficient and effective budget hearings. We look forward to working with the parish council to review this proposed budget for adoption prior to the start of the 2021 fiscal year.
Ms. Taylor, it's kind of late. Y'all don't have no money in here.
Well, y'all
the
are going to
money?
give us some, Mr. LaFrance.
Carl. Carl. Carl.
Good afternoon, Major Tracy Riley, retired, 13482 Highway 23, Bell Chase. There are many residents interested in participating and observing in the budget review. How can the residents who are interested and want to, read up and research and be informed by that date also get access to this information?
Mrs. Taylor?
We will have something posted on the website. The information will be there. And email, you can email. And the library, the book will be placed in the libraries throughout the parish.
Okay, good, thank
It'll be
you.
available.
And the date we're gonna have the budget hearing on November the 16th.
Right, it starts on
It's
November
six,
16th.
it started on the 16th,
Right.
17th, and 18th.
And the date that they'll be in the libraries is October 26th.
Item 11, please.
Approval of the minutes from the October 13th, 2020 special meeting.
I so offered. Seconded by Mr. Roussel. Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-0. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Roussel, seconded by Mr. Conovich. Machines are open.
Councilmember Blank?
And the measure passes 7-0. We'll have adjournment at 5:41 PM.